Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Saturday morning at Baitul Azkar in Wasiabad, Allahabad, UP, India. Saturday, the 17th of Shawwal, 1445, corresponding with the English date, 27th of April, 2024. Hazrat Wala is reading from the kitab that he has in front of him. Hazrat Wala is saying, फरमाते थे कि अल्लाह ताला के साथ तिजारत करो. फरमाते थे कि अल्लाह के साथ तिजारत करो तो बहुत नफ़ा होगा, घाटे का सवाल ही नहीं. If you trade with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will make a lot of profits. There's no question of making a loss. This is the irshadat and the statements of Hazrat Uzzaman radiyallahu ta'ala an. फरमाते थे कि बंदगी इसको कहते हैं कि अहकाम इलाही की हिफाजत करे और जो अहद किसी से कर ले उसको पूरा करे और जो कुछ भी मिल जाए उससे उस पर राजी रहे और जो न मिले उस पर सबर कर ले. Servitude entails upholding the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fulfilling promises which are made to people, being content with whatever one receives, and exercising patience over what one does not receive. Now here Hazrat Wala is saying, you can have on one side Hazar Zikr Askar, so many thousand times of your awrad, your wazaif, your zikr, etc. But what are they saying here? That what is this bandagi and servitude? It means and entails upholding the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala out of His grace made me write this kitab. Hazrat Wala is speaking about the Aqwal Salaf. From wherever you open and read, you would find something or the other. When I went to Srinagar, I met the principal there and he was telling me that Maulana, you have written the Aqwal Salaf and in there you have written the Fawaid, the footnotes on these Aqwal, etc. By doing that, you have done a very, very great service. Otherwise, people will just read and slip out and carry on to the next one. By you mentioning this footnotes, Fawaid, actually what happens there, you have brought out that what is achieved and what should you understand from this particular malfuz. In another of his statements, Hazrat Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala is mentioned, worry over the world causes darkness, while worry and concern for the akhirat causes illumination. Number 4, the sign of a pious person is that he considers everyone to have attained salvation, while he himself is to be destroyed. While he himself is to be destroyed. So it goes like this. मुत्तकी की अलामत यह है कि सब लोग को तो समझे कि नजात पा जाएंगे और अपने को समझे कि हलाक हो जाऊंगा. The sign of a pious person is that he considers everyone to have attained salvation, while he himself is to be destroyed. Now, subhanallah, look at the lesson of self-effacement. Our Hazrat is writing the footnote here. May Allah Ta'ala make us like this. The next point, the worst destruction is when a person is given a long life, but he does not make preparations for the journey of the year after. On that Malfuz, Hazrat Wala is saying, I went to Deoban on one occasion. We were sitting and we were speaking there, and this had been established that I am the eldest of all of them that were there. Nevertheless, when I gave the bayan, I started speaking about the hadith, man tala umruhu wa hasuna amaluhu. That who is the best of all people? The one who has a long lifespan together with good deeds. So he went on, Hazrat Wala went on to say to the audience there that, listen, I have come in your khidmat, and this has been established that I am the eldest of all of you people. Even though you are younger than me and you may be students, I have come to your place, and your place here, Deoban, is a very, very great and significant place. I have come from a small place. However, why did I come? I have come with old age, but I have come here to seek husn amal. This is the very reason that I had come here. This Aqwal Salaf that I have written is in 11 volumes. I have written it over a period of 45 years. What to do? Who listens? Who takes? Who reads? On one occasion, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb became absolutely ill. We started crying, thinking that it was his last moments. He also began thinking that. Shortly thereafter, Allah Ta'ala blessed him with health and he recovered completely. And then when he recapped and started speaking about that, he started saying to us, I actually thought myself that it was my last moments. I then turned my attention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asked him that, oh Allah, give me some respite, give me some time so that I can prepare myself to then come and meet you. On one occasion, I walked into the private chamber of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb, and he was pacing up and down. And what was on his lips? To Pir Shudi Hafiz, as Mekhada Bayrun Showad, Rindi wa Havasnaki dar Ahd Shabab Awla. Oh Hafiz, this is the share of Hafiz, the Ash'ar, his couplets and poems. Shah Wasiullah Saheb was echoing these very same couplets, addressing himself that, O Wasiullah Saheb, O Wasiullah, to Pir Shudi Hafiz, you have become old now, as Mehkuda Bayrun Shawad. Now you come out of all these undesirable places. And Rindi wa Hawasnaki Dar Ahd Shabab Awla, this following of your desires, okay, understood. If a person is young, he's still immature, he's still this or that, but you have grown old, it's time for you to leave the world, and you are still following your desires. I'm sure nobody even heard him saying these couplets. The worst of destruction is when a person is given a long life, but he does not make preparations for the journey of the year after. The next point, the grave shall be a place of comfort for the one for whom this world is a prison. Now note, Hazrat Wala is writing there, obviously if a person considers this world to be a prison, he will be content with the constricted livelihood of this dunya, because the more constriction he experiences here, the more comfort he will experience in his grave. Point number 7. Hazrat Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala is telling us, if your hearts become purified, you will never become satiated by reading or listening to the Quran. You will always want to read and listen to it. You will always want to continue. On that point, Hazrat Wala is saying, he says, I'm referring to myself. It is certainly something of great remorse and regret for me when I read this, because our hearts have not become purified. If your hearts become purified, you will never be satiated by reading or listening to the Quran. You will always want to read and listen to it. Hazrat Uthman radiallahu ta'ala is saying, during the days when he was besieged, people asked him, "O Amirul Mu'mineen, you are not in a position to go to the masjid." Of course, the rebels did not allow him to do so. And so, one of the rebels have now become the imam of the masjid. Should we offer salat behind him or not? He replied, "Salah is a good deed. When you see people doing good deeds, you must join them. Yes, do not join them in evil deeds." Subhanallah. Hazrat Wala is saying, glory be to Allah. What a balanced and equitable teaching. Only the righteous Khalif could have taught such a thing. Okay, from his khutbat, Hazrat Uthman radiallahu ta'ala an, in his first khutbah after becoming a Khalif, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending salutations upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, "The burden of Khilafat has been placed on me and I accepted it. Listen, I am one who follows the Sunnah. I am not one who initiates bid'ah. Listen, after following the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, I have 3 rights over you all. Number 1, when the Muslims are unanimous on a particular matter, you cannot follow the past peoples. Number 2, when the Muslims do not agree on a matter, you must follow the righteous among them. And number 3, I will not afflict any punishment on you unless you commit an act which makes you eligible for punishment. Listen, the world is like a beautiful woman who makes people desirous of her, and by whom many people have been seduced. Do not incline to the world, do not hanker after it, and do not rely on it, because it is not worthy of reliance. Remember, the world leaves a person who does not bother about it." In another khutbah, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending salutations upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Uthman radiallahu ta'ala and said, "Understand well, Allah ta'ala gave you this world so that you may use it as a preparation for the akhirat. He has not given it to you so that you become part and parcel of it. Without doubt, the dunya, the world is fleeting, and the year after is everlasting. Beware, do not place your reliance on something fleeting by remaining distant from something which is eternal. Give preference to the eternal over the temporary, because you will certainly have to leave the world behind and go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So fear Allah, because this fear acts as a shield against His pakar, His grasp, and it is a means to gain His proximity. O people, Allah is most self-respecting. Remain on your guard. Do not abandon your group. Do not separate yourselves. Do not forget Allah's favor on you when you were enemies to each other, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala united your hearts and made you brothers to each other by virtue of His mercy." So this Aqwal Salaf, already I had started translating it in the time of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb, and after that, when I started actually putting it into book form during the time of Hazrat Maulana Mohammad Ahmad Saheb, every day after the Maghrib Salat, I would read certain portions, of course in order starting from the right beginning, to him, and every day he would make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, "Oh Allah, you accept this kitab." One person had mentioned, Alim, he said that the Aqwal Salaf, because of it, aap tamam ulama mein mutaarif hai. You have now become recognized and known amongst all the ulama. Nobody now needs to introduce you. I'm saying now, Hazrat Wala is saying that this is a great ni'mat for me. Hazrat Maulana Ali Miya Sahab, when I showed him or told him about the Aqwal Salaf, he said to me, people must be reading it and listening to it abundantly. At that time, I thought to myself, who will now read it? Nevertheless, you people make dua for my health and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes difficulties, etc. Allah ta'ala keep us established on the deen and protect us from tests, trials, tribulations, fitna. Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min al-fitan ma dhahara minha wa ma batan wa min yawmi as-su' ومن ليلة السوء ومن ساعة السوء ومن صاحب السوء ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.